This thing looks like it belongs in a Tim Burton movie. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cake Fight Presents The Making of Kaleidoscope. I'm Paige Feldman, writer, director, and producer, and every week I'm taking you inside my process of making my debut feature film. We're going from idea to premiere in real time, and today I'm live from the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden, and being out of LA has me daydreaming, so I'm gonna tell you my wish list of all the things that I want for Kaleidoscope. Let's roll the credits, and I'll see you over at another sculpture. Hello everybody. So I am currently in Minneapolis. I'm actually at the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden right now, as you can see from the love statue behind me. And I'm here because INTERROBANG, my short form comedy anthology, has been selected by the Minnesota Web Fest and is nominated for Best Comedic Series. So I'm here, the festival's tomorrow, Saturday. So today I'm just exploring the city and walking around, seeing art. It really inspires me, and it kind of got me daydreaming and introspective. So I have this lovely notebook that I carry around with me, and in it I wrote a wish list of things that I want to happen for Kaleidoscope. So I'm gonna read you this wish list and take you on a tour through the sculpture garden with some B-roll while I do it. It's art. First of all, Kaleidoscope is a Jewish love story, and meaning that the characters are Jewish, and there are a lot of fantastic Jewish characters finally starting to come out, but very few of them are actually played by Jewish actors. So I want Lee and Jonah, Jewish characters, to be portrayed by Jewish actors. Second is my budget. I have the $75,000 budget. That's my goal, that's in my mind, but if I could get $200,000, I think that there's a little bit of extra things that I could get. Things like hiring an intimacy coordinator or pay above the minimums. IATSE is currently voting on a strike authorization for things like living wages and reasonable rest, and I am fully in support of that, and I would like to be able to pay my crew more than the minimums. Now that I'm here for a film festival, I would like Kaleidoscope to have a in-person film festival premiere. Having had INTERROBANG play at Dances with Films, there's nothing like the energy of an audience. And also, I was so nervous watching INTERROBANG, was hoping people would laugh. And when they did, it was exhilarating. So I would like the same thing for Kaleidoscope. I'd like to be able to show it in a theater surrounded by people, some people who I know and love and work with, and some people who are complete strangers. So it doesn't mean it has to be Sundance, although I'm not going to say no to Sundance, but Tribeca, South by Southwest, Seattle International Film Festival, where INTERROBANG first premiered. I would love to be there in person, or Dances with Films again, anywhere. I just want an in-person festival premiere. As far as people I want to work with, I would love to have a band who I love and know compose the score or even contribute to an original soundtrack. Do you remember when movies had these like amazing original soundtracks and you would buy them on CDs? dating myself, I'm sure, but like the Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion soundtrack or the Wedding Singer. I mean, those were all compilations, but I want a killer soundtrack. There are two bands who I would kind of feel like they already have the vibe of it just from their music alone. Lanny, and then there's this one song called Locals by a band called Color the Band that randomly came on Spotify one day, and this sort of like dreamy, romantic, energetic feel, and a lot of synth, just things that sound like they should be lit up in neon. That's what I want. So Lanny, Color the Band, Lauv, L-A-U-V. I mean, hey, with like Motion City soundtrack, you want to get back together and do my music? Newfound Glory. Also about INTERROBANG, I worked with Jonah Matranga of One Line Drawing, who, God, I've been such a fan of his since high school, and so I emailed him, asked him if he wanted to do the score for INTERROBANG, and he said yes. So he composed my score. I want to continue this streak of working with amazing musicians whose music I've bought and whose concerts I've gone to and who I just love and respect. I also would love to work with heads of department that are all either or all of these women, people of color, or Jewish. Representation in front of the camera, like Jewish actors playing Jewish characters, is just as important as behind the camera, because who's telling stories matters. And because I'm the director, I will be guiding all of these decisions, but set dressing is storytelling, and costuming is storytelling, and makeup is storytelling, cinematography is storytelling, and as much as I can communicate my vision to my crew, they're also autonomous, and they're able to bring things to their work that I wouldn't be able to. So having people with these diverse perspectives, bringing a little something extra, bringing their own perspective and their own flavor, is going to create a richness to this movie, and I want to support new generations of, my goodness, I want to support new generations of filmmakers and storytellers and craftspeople who don't look like everybody else. Okay, next thing is that I would love to have a long rehearsal period with the actors. From making How to Fall in Love the Hard Way, I found that the more that I work with the same cast, because it's a 10-episode series, each episode is about an hour to an hour and a half long, and working with these actors for the past 10 months, we've created a bond, a rapport, and they also know their characters and can sink into them. And it's easier to make this audio series the more times we work together. And also, the more that we talk about these characters and my actors explain their characters, and the more we get into the nitty-gritty of these characters, the more they're able to bring interesting new insight to them that helps me as a director drive the story forward. So I would love to have a couple weeks long rehearsal period, which I know isn't customary in small independent films, but I want to break the mold with this, because getting people to embody a character and feeling that comfort it's important. Another thing I'd like to break the mold on, look at the list, is I would love to have music going just while we're setting up on set, during meal breaks. I'd love to turn my set into a party, like a dance party. Just set the mood for every scene with a playlist. Y'all know how much I love music as far as inspiration, and I'd like to share that with the cast and the crew. And I'd love to have a PA who is in charge of playlist, having music that defines the day and the mood of those scenes. Plus the movie takes place in the middle of a party for a lot of it. Like, why not embody that on set even before we start rolling? Along with keeping that positive atmosphere on set with music and fun, I also want to be able to honor everybody's time. I want to shoot each day, load in to load out, 12 hours only. And then hopefully be able to give 12 hours of turnaround time for everyone so that people can come to set feeling well rested and not feel overworked the whole day. Because, like I said earlier, IATSE's voting on a strike authorization for things like reasonable rest. I believe in paying everybody a good wage that's what they're worth, and giving people enough time to rest and recover, because like, we're making a movie, but we're not curing cancer here. Art is important, but it's not important enough to risk people's health and safety and sanity. So speaking of paying people their worth, I have never actually gotten paid on any of my own projects. I've been hired a couple times and gotten paid for those, but I've never been able to pay myself. So paying myself is something that I would really love to do on Kaleidoscope, because creative work is work and I'm working my tush off. Then I would also love to be able to hire an intimacy coordinator for any sex scenes that would happen, and also just so I can learn from them how they work with actors and see what I can do better as a director to make sure that people on my set feel comfortable, especially when I'm asking them to be extremely vulnerable. So I already talked about wanting a festival premiere, but I would also love, and I would love out of that to get some sort of distribution deal, to get paid to make sure that people can see the film easily. If I don't get a distribution deal, I will figure out how to self-distribute myself, because people are gonna need to see it. So it's not the question of distribution deal or bust, it's a question of, I would like a distribution deal where Kaleidoscope is valued properly and will get seen as easily as possible. Also, where someone who is nearly as passionate about the project as I am is in charge of making people sure people can see it. Because even though I've worked in sales and distribution, I'm not a sales agent and I'm not a distributor. So I can do it, but I'd love to have someone who's an expert take the reins. Another person I'd love to hire is a publicist. I have been doing my own publicity and it's tough, and I could do it, but I'd love to, again, give someone the reins who knows how to get in contact with press outlets and get exposure and just take some of that weight off of my shoulders. In the same way I'm going to have an on-set producer. I need to. I didn't have one in INTERROBANG, and it was, my brain was going every which way when I had to reschedule a shoot in the middle of another shoot that we had issues with the shot list, or we had to throw it out. It was a mess, and if I had an on-set producer who could just deal with all the logistics and I was able to sit and use my creative brain, I think that we would have gotten much more cohesive shots. But I mean, in the end, Leia, the editors, saved that episode. So after that whole vomit out of people I'd like to hire, The last thing that I'm wishing for Kaleidoscope, the thing that I'm hoping for, maybe above all else, yeah, above all else, is that when I'm in the middle of production, or when I'm watching the first cut, or even during that long rehearsal period, I want to have moments where I get sucked into the story and I forget that I've written it. I want to be absorbed by the characters and be overcome with emotion and feel a sense of surprise and discovery, even though this is going to be a story that I've already spent years on it, and I'm going to spend more. I want to have those moments of surprise. That's my wish list for Kaleidoscope, and I'm putting it out into the world now because I figure the more I talk about it, the more likely that all of those things will come true. Going on the swing. All right, so that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Next week, I'll get right into the 36 questions that lead to love, I promise. I know we've been away from it for 2 weeks. Still doing them, still going strong. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already but are digging my content, please hit the subscribe button. Both the likes and the subscribes really help me. They show me support, make me feel good, but also make sure that more people can see what I'm doing and hopefully get more people on this roller coaster of filmmaking. If there's something that you're wishing for your next project, please put it in the comments and I will, not to get too woo-woo, wish it out into the universe for you, because speaking things out loud, speaking our intentions, even if it doesn't create magic, I feel like you are able to see clearly when those opportunities for things that you want come across. So let me know what you want for your next project in the comments, and now I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the city, enjoy the film festival, and I will see you all next week. Bye.